Mapp v. Ohio, 1961. Political Science 330. Gary Jorgensen. Facts of the case. In 1957, Cleveland police officers received a tip that a suspect involved in a recent bombing was hiding in Dollree Mapp's home. When the officers arrived, Mapp refused to allow them entry without a search warrant, invoking her Fourth Amendment rights. The police left but later returned, claiming to have obtained a warrant. They showed Mapp a piece of paper, which she grabbed and tucked inside her blouse, suspecting that it was not valid. The police forcibly took the paper back and entered her home. While they didn't find the bombing suspect, they did discover obscene materials, pornography, which was illegal under Ohio law at the time. Mapp was arrested and later convicted based on this evidence. History of the case. During her trial, the police were unable to produce an actual search warrant in court, raising significant concerns about the legality of the search. Mapp appealed her conviction, initially arguing that her First Amendment right to free speech had been violated, as she believed the law prohibiting possession of obscene materials infringed upon her freedom of expression. However, Mapp lost her appeal in the Ohio State Supreme Court. She then appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court, where the focus shifted from the First Amendment to whether her Fourth Amendment rights had been violated due to the illegal search and seizure. Legal questions. The central legal question in Mapp v. Ohio was whether evidence obtained in violation of the Fourth Amendment's protection against unreasonable searches and seizures could be used in state courts. At the time, the exclusionary rule, which prevented illegally obtained evidence from being used, was applied only to federal cases. This case raised the question of whether this rule should also apply to state courts, protecting individuals from unlawful searches at all levels of law enforcement. Decisions or holdings. In a 6-3 decision, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in favor of Dollree Mapp, overturning her conviction. The court held that the exclusionary rule, which barred the use of evidence obtained through illegal searches, also applied to state courts. This ruling was made possible through the 14th Amendment's Due Process Clause, which extends certain protections from the Bill of Rights to the states. The court's decision created a uniform standard for law enforcement across the country, ensuring that illegally obtained evidence could not be used in either federal or state courts. Verdict and opinions. Justice Tom C. Clark, writing for the majority, emphasized that nothing can destroy a government more quickly than its failure to observe its own laws, reinforcing the idea that law enforcement must operate within the bounds of the Constitution. Justice Hugo Black wrote a concurring opinion, agreeing with the ruling but providing a broader interpretation of the Bill of Rights. In dissent, Justice John Marshall Harlan argued that the court was overstepping its authority by imposing the exclusionary rule on the states, which he believed should have more autonomy in handling legal matters. Resulting impact. The decision in Mapp v. Ohio fundamentally changed law enforcement practices across the United States. It established that state law enforcement, like federal agencies, had to follow strict constitutional guidelines when conducting searches. The exclusionary rule became a critical tool for protecting individuals from unlawful searches and seizures. This ruling set a precedent that ensured greater accountability for police actions at the state level, effectively expanding citizens' Fourth Amendment protections across the nation. Benefits of the case to citizens. The Mapp v. Ohio decision greatly benefited U.S. citizens by ensuring that evidence obtained through illegal means could no longer be used in state courts. This decision expanded individual rights and protections under the Fourth Amendment, safeguarding citizens from unlawful searches and ensuring fairer trials. The case reinforced the importance of adhering to constitutional standards and provided a critical check on law enforcement power, strengthening the protection of civil liberties in both federal and state legal systems.